Hi guys, my name is Christine. Today I'm talking about focus on yourself and stay silent. Okay. One of the things that I often find is that I can easily manifest things way better, and I can create life circumstances that I want way better and create and generate more success way better when I actually just put my head down and get to work on the things that I know I need to do. And by not saying to other people what my goals are. Like, for example, I wrote a book a few months back and released it for my dating and relationship channel. And for those viewers over there, and I've got it here actually. It's called Attracting the Beautiful Woman of Your Dreams. And if you're interested in it, you can go and read it for free on my website if you're interested in that too. You just go to www.christinelovers.com and then you click on the menu and then go down to the book and then you can read it completely for free. You also don't need to log into the website. You don't need to sign up for it. You can just read it there for free. There's no confusing landing page. It's just there for you to read if you want to. But anyway, I didn't tell anybody that I was writing a book. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell my friends. I just wrote it. I just did it. And then I got myself an editor that could clear it up a bit for me to make it a bit more easier for readers, because sometimes I can sort of go on tangents and stuff, which you'll probably find in a lot of my videos, right? But I created a whole book. I wrote a whole book and I didn't tell anybody that I'd done it. It was a complete surprise when I released it. And I just tend to just do things way better when I don't let anyone else's energy come into what I'm trying to do, right? And so that's why you should stay silent. If you're trying to create something, let's say you're trying to create like a viral TikTok channel or page or profile or whatever, don't tell anyone about it. Yeah, but maybe people will find it that you know, but don't go about and tell people about it until maybe that you've got the level of success that you want. So, and I just find that things just work out way better when you don't tell people what you're doing, okay? Because like I said, when you tell other people about it, then they can invite their energy into it, and you don't want to do that. You want to protect it, especially if it's a really important project, especially if it's something extremely important to you. So don't tell people what you're trying to manifest. Don't try to tell people about the success that you're trying to generate. Just keep it to yourself, okay? Of course, you might not be able to do that if you've got like a company, for example, and you've got many people involved in that company, and you've got to work with other people, for example, to make these things happen. But generally, if you're just being a solo person and you're just doing things on your own, don't tell people what you're doing. Just keep it to yourself. Okay, so what I found as well is that when you're about to take action on something, when you're about to try and start something new, like maybe you're writing a book, or maybe you're about to create a piece of content for YouTube or TikTok. First of all, what I'd really like you to do is to get into a really good state of mind, get into a really good flow state, feel really good, and then take action. Don't try to avoid taking action when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling worried, when you're feeling just not in a good mood, basically. Try and get yourself in a good mood first and then take action. Because what you'll find is that action that you've taken is way more effective and actually generates more success because you put yourself in a good mood before you did it, okay? And what you'll find is then you'll get into a flow state much more easier because you're already in a good mood, and because you're not feeling tired or lethargic or you're thinking negatively, things just seem to just come out of you way, way better, okay? So ideally then you want to live with passion, and then take action. Feel good and then take action, okay? And what you'll find is that the action that you take is more effective, okay? So another thing that what you've got to remember as well, because I've been reading a lot of Abraham Hicks recently. I've been rereading and going over Asking It Is Given, that book. And focusing on yourself, I think, is really important when it comes to getting yourself to feel good, okay? So focusing on yourself here, I mean, what I'm saying here is that you should focus on getting yourself into a higher vibration, feeling better about your life, about your circumstances. So even though things may not be where you want it to be in your life, maybe there's a lot of things that are still unmanifested that you'd like to bring into your life, focus on finding ways to bring joy into your life now while you're on the process, while you're on the journey to have those things, okay? So one of the ways that Abraham says in Asking It Is Given is think things that feel good when you think them. Okay, so think of thoughts that make you feel good, that put you in a really, really good mood. And they could be really simple things. They don't have to be, oh, I need to think about the thing that I want to manifest, because sometimes there can be a bit of lower vibration in that, because perhaps you've been really wanting this thing for a long time. And because you've been really wanting it for a long time, you can sometimes feel very negatively about it because it's not in your life. So it's then a better idea to actually think of thoughts that are easy to feel good about. It could be, you know, your favorite kind of food and snack. I remember just yesterday, actually, I was in a bit of a groggy mood. I was kind of like, I was feeling a bit negative and I was feeling a bit irritated. And basically what I did is I just thought of something that was very easy to feel good about. And what I thought about was cookies, having like cookies and milk, and just thinking about the texture of the crunch of the cookie when I dip it in the milk and stuff. There's like a specific brand here in the UK. I don't know if it may be in other countries too. And they're basically called they're called Maryland cookies. And I just really love that kind of cookie. I'm not really, I do like the soft cookies, the ones that are kind of like a little bit gooey and soft, but I really, really like these ones that are like really crunchy and more biscuit-like. And I was just thinking about the crunch, the satisfying crunch, the drinking of milk, you know, it's just like a really comforting little snack that I like to have sometimes, occasionally. And I was just thinking about that, and I just kept on thinking about it because it just felt good to think about it. So I just kept on thinking about it because I wanted to feel good. So I was probably contemplating just cookies and milk for like a good solid 5 minutes, and it put me into a really, really good mood, and I just felt way happier for the rest of the day because of that, because I put myself in a good mood by just thinking things that just felt pleasant. Okay. And well, that's one of the best ways that you can focus on yourself, to try and, because if you know that you're having a bad day and you don't feel good, what can tend to happen is you start to do things that may burn the candle at both ends. Like if you're not feeling good that day, you may be tempted to overeat or overdrink or overconsume something or overindulge in some kind of way. You may be tempted to just sort of not do anything. And usually that may lead to more negative results because you don't feel good. And usually if you've spent a day doing things like that, you tend to have a lot of guilt at the end of the day because you're like, oh, you know what, instead of that, I should have gone to the gym. I should have been working on these projects that are important to me. And then you start beating yourself up over the fact that you did all these different things to try and make yourself feel better, okay? But they had an opposite effect. So the idea then is when you start to feel this way and you kind of feel like you're going to attempt to overindulge in some kind of way and do things that you know you're going to regret later on, is to do something like what I did and just contemplate thoughts that feel good, so it gets you out of that stuck mood, if it gets you out of that bad mood, if it gets you out of your lethargy, okay? And just think things that feel nice, even if they're just super simple, okay, like my cookies and milk. Just something really simple. Okay, because you may be thinking, okay, oh no, I've got to think about the thing that I've got to imagine the wish fulfilled. I've got to be living in the end. I've got to think that I've got my millions of pounds now. I've got to think that I'm a millionaire now. I've got to think that I've got everything that I've ever wanted now. But there can be a lot of negative emotions like tied to those things. And if you're already feeling bad, it's very likely that you're going to think of those things in a bad way. And it's not going to put you in a good mood. So think of things that are going to easily put you in a good mood. It could be also like the contemplation of your favorite flower, your favorite holiday destination. Okay, just imagining yourself floating in the sea, or having a nice drink, like a nice sweet tea or something like that. You know, just think of those things, okay? And that's how you can really focus on yourself. And then when you've thought about things that make you feel good, then take action. Okay, then get on with the rest of your day because you've fixed your vibration first. Okay, and you're going to have a more effective day if you do that and each time you do that, okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like help with me personally and you'd like coaching, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com and pick whichever coaching option works best for you at this current time. And I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.